Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar, where we're going to be in conversation with the Dean of Newcastle University Business School, Professor Stewart Robinson. My name is Jen Simpson, and I work as part of the careers team here at Newcastle University. And I'll be posing some of the questions that we've received from you as an offer holder to Stewart this morning in an informal conversation, which aims to talk a little bit about what makes Newcastle University Business School such a great place to study. Newcastle is a great place to live, and what you can expect when you join us here in Newcastle in terms of your learning experience and also your experience as an alumni and a graduate as well. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Stewart and kind of kick things off a little bit. Just to first of all ask, Stewart, you've been with the business school now a couple of years in your position as dean. Would you mind just kind of giving a little bit of a background as to your career before you joined us here at Newcastle?
Sure. Yes, thanks, Jen, and good morning. As you say, I joined, actually, it's nearly 3 years, so time flies very quickly since I joined Newcastle. I started my career actually in industry and spent a number of years working, firstly in retail as a business analyst for a large shoe retailing chain, and then moved on to doing specialist consultancy work, largely actually in the manufacturing sector. So after a few years of that, I was looking for a career change, and the honest truth is, chanced upon an academic career, which I then have spent now over 30 years in, and have worked my way through from a lecturer through to professor, and then to a dean role. So I've worked at 4 different universities, and then spent 6 years as dean at another school prior to coming to Newcastle. When that term as dean finished at the previous school, I very much was looking for another opportunity for leadership. And the opportunity came up here at Newcastle, which was for me a really exciting opportunity to lead a school that is, a particularly strong business school. So I started July 2022, and I've very much enjoyed my time here ever since. And we'll perhaps come to this later, but for me, it meant a move to the northeast of England. And an area that I've got to know since I joined in 2022.
Brilliant. And in terms of, obviously, you're very experienced working in other institutions, what would you say are the key are there any key differentiators between the institutions you've worked for previously and Newcastle in terms of its position and accreditation, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, what sets us apart here, obviously, we're a member of the Russell Group, which is the top research-intensive universities in the UK, and maybe we'll talk more about why research-intensive matters for those who are coming to study on a programme a little bit later. But yeah, beyond that, a key thing is our triple accreditation. So that is accreditations from the European accrediting body EQUIS, the American accrediting body AACSB, and also the Association of MBAs, who accredit the MBA program, but also actually more widely the development of the school. And that's important because it sets us apart. There's only just over 100 schools in the world that have achieved that accreditation, many other schools trying to achieve that. So really only about 1% of business schools in the world hold those 3 international accreditations. We also have a very wide range of international partnerships as a school, which is extremely important for students studying here to be able to tap into those partnerships. And in terms of our world ranking, there's many rankings we can point to, but I think the one that most people would look at is the QS World Rankings, and we sit 129th currently in the world as an institution. So these are really significant factors and important for me, actually, in choosing myself to come and work and lead this school.
That's great, thank you. A lot of people who will be viewing this video will be considering joining us from an international country within the sort of the postgraduate taught space. Could we ask a little bit about, you know, what you consider to be the strengths of our portfolio of programs here at Newcastle on PGT?
I mean, in fact, something when I joined, I very much encouraged us to work on developing even further the postgraduate programs. So we've done a lot to strengthen and build those programs over the last 2 to 3 years. I think what I point to, and it's obvious if you start to look at the website, is the range of programs that we have and the fact that they focus on specialist areas, so provide lots of opportunities for students wanting to come from different areas, different angles, to study around a business function. So I think that's really important. I think our industry links are really important. We work a lot with industry, particularly in the region, lots of opportunities for students on the programs to engage with industry in a range of ways. And perhaps just give one example, Sage, who are the software company, are a local organization, though international, and a number of our programs actually link in with Sage, and there are opportunities to engage with them. So, for example, in that case, our business analytics, our sustainability, our digital programs all have a link there. Many of our programs have a professional accreditations. So I talked about school accreditations a little while ago, but specific accreditations which are beneficial to students are things like the Chartered Institute of Personnel Development for our Global HRM program, Chartered Institute of Marketing for our marketing program, and CIMA for our accounting and finance programs. So these are all really important in terms of what employers are looking for, is programs that have those accreditations, and that sets us apart in terms of what we do. So there's a strong focus on the specialist area, the specialist skills you'll get alongside it. What we offer is a real opportunity to develop your career and to be career ready at the end of your program. So it's a real boost and opportunity to help you into the workplace.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Just thinking a little bit more broadly, how would you consider the business school to be adapting towards global business trends and digital transformation? How are we starting to tackle problems that may not yet exist in terms of our programming?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I very much wanted to do joining here was, and if you look at our strategy, we have the word agility written quite large in there, is about making sure that the programs that we teach do adapt and are agile and change with the changing trends in industry and in the world. We keep close correspondence through particularly our advisory boards with what's happening in industry. So this helps us to keep up to date. And I think particularly, of course, we, as I've said earlier, Russell Group institution, we are very, what we describe as research intensive. So we have staff in the school, the academics are at the forefront of their fields. And I think it's where you get the benefit as a student from a research-led institution is you're not being taught by people who know what they're talking about. You're being taught by people who are leading the latest ideas in their field. So that all means that we've been adapting a lot. I think 3 areas I would particularly highlight where we've seen a lot of change recently because of the needs of employers and the way that the world is moving, has been around the data and digital, around artificial intelligence, and around sustainability, which are all key themes that we need to be working on. I mean, we've got specialist programs in those areas, but actually, perhaps more importantly, we embed learning across all our programs in these areas. So whatever program you're doing, you will learn about these latest trends as part of your general learning, because they're just important for you to be able to engage with.
Thank you, that's great. We know from speaking to offer holders that part of one of the key motivators and drivers to come and study in the UK at a PGT level especially is to really boost career opportunities and obtain that sort of level of specialism that's going to lead on to greater employment opportunities. Can I ask you a little bit about the sort of the careers offering here at the business school and how we aim to support especially our international students?
Sure, yeah. Yes, careers, as I've just said, careers are really important, and we recognise that the main reason people would come to study here, particularly those who are considering postgraduate study, is to get a boost to their career. So we provide a lot of support with respect to that. We have dedicated careers consultants in the school, and we run and they lead a whole set of events specifically for students from the business school. So there's a specific focus on business school students and the programs that we run. Those consultants will provide appointments, guidance appointments. They run workshops. They run employer events where employers come into the school and talk about career opportunities, and they also support and run skills workshops to help our students present themselves in the best way and develop the skills that make them ready for employment. One thing that will be particularly of interest to those listening to this from overseas would be the Asia Career Insight series, which is an online series of webinars and in-person networking events that we run with Chinese employers. So we particularly have a focus there on Chinese students that join the school. And we also run a number of UK industry events in Newcastle, in London, in Manchester, which is really driven by the demand for graduates. So, for example, those events, those visits have centred around career areas such as finance, consulting, creative industries, and digital and technology areas. So you will get a lot of support when you're here and during your studies here, but also we provide ongoing career support for up to 3 years after graduation to help you develop your career beyond just the initial time that you spend with us. So yeah, it's absolutely important to us. We know it's really important to our students.
Thank you. And in terms of gaining that UK-based experience within the world of work, can you elaborate a little bit on the opportunities during study to do that, like within sort of like the paid opportunities, I guess?
Yeah. So well, yes, we provide internship opportunities while you are here, and that's information about that is provided both via the school, but also the University's Central Careers Service. These are term time paid employment opportunities that are designed to fit around your studies. So we provide specific support for that. If you're considering the undergraduate program, you are encouraged as part of that and supported to take a work placement during your studies, and that is a 1-year paid work placement in a company in the UK or overseas. And we also provide some in-course opportunities to get, let's call it real world experience, I think is the way I would describe it. So things like consultancy projects in the final year of the undergraduate international business program, but also a whole range of modules across our programs, undergraduate, postgraduate, where we actually run live client projects. So you'll work with a client, helping to solve a problem for that client. And if you're thinking of the MBA, that includes the Business in Action module, which also has a live client project. And on that program, there are opportunities for consultancy projects as well. So a whole range of opportunities you can take up, some paid for, some part of your studies, and part of actually building credit towards your final degree classification.
So there's a lot going on. So there's full-time study, there's opportunities within study, there's extracurricular opportunities. We like to keep students busy here. So how do we, in your view, how do we go about looking after people and making sure that they have the support that they need to kind of be able to thrive and manage the balance of study and life outside as well?
Yes, you're right. We do expect our students to work hard, but I think that's where the students, as students, you get value from your program. So I think first I'd say every student is allocated a personal academic tutor who will provide them with academic support. We have a dedicated education team as well who provide support, particularly around program queries and questions. I mean, when you walk into the building, you will find during the day that there is one or two members of the education team in the reception area ready to give immediate advice. And then there's a much wider team that you can talk with both online or face-to-face if you need specific support. So that's the direct support we provide. There are a whole set of central support services in the university around things like finance, around visas. And then we have wellbeing advisor as well in the school who runs weekly drop-in sessions and runs a series of wellbeing events within the school. So that provides a wider form of support to our students. And of course, if things become very difficult, which, with 3,500 students, there's going to be some who have particular challenges while they're here. We are set up, particularly through the wellbeing advisor, who can refer people if they need further support. We also run a scheme of peer mentoring between students as well. So there's further support from the student body one-to-one. So lots of support that we provide as a school and as a student body between students.
Great, thank you. Just expanding on that slightly, one of the questions we've had is, what is the university doing to enhance overall student experience for international students? So how can students be represented in the actual running and visibility within the school?
Yeah. I mean, we refer to this as student voice, and that's, again, important that we hear from our students about their experiences, about how we can improve things for them, that we can respond to that. So we have a staff student council, which is an opportunity for students to update us at a program level about how their studies are going, what things are going well, what things we can improve upon. So there's an opportunity there for students to feed back to us, and we will make every effort to address any concerns and actually feedback what we've done. Actually, we also, on our modules, and it's just at that level, the modular level, always get feedback mid-semester, so partway through the module, to the lecturer. So it's an opportunity to say what you're finding good about the module, but what could be improved, and that gives us opportunity mid-module to actually provide some changes there. You know, for international students, lots of opportunities as well to embed culturally within the context of the UK. We run things like career treks to major cities, site visits, guest speakers from industry, support, as I've said, for career development. And we also provide a very strong social offer. And this is an opportunity, again, through more informal events to talk with staff, to talk with both the support teams and the academics. And we can learn a lot about how things are going for you, and provide support that way. I mean, an example of one of the social events, which is to me always a highlight, is for postgraduate students. We run an afternoon tea soon after you join. It's in the City Hall, lovely venue, and just a really great event where staff are there, the new students are there, and we get a chance to meet and talk with each other in an informal and very British, I'm going to say, environment. So it's a cultural event as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely event. It's really nice. And it's a great venue as well, it has to be said, one of the highlights of Newcastle. Thank you for that. Just moving on slightly, just thinking a little bit more about our alumni community. We tend to think of alumni as something that you become that's quite separate to you know, after post-graduation, after you've completed your studies. But would it be fair to say that alumni are quite embedded in what we do here in the school, and there's opportunities for students to kind of start to become part of the alumni community, but even before they graduate?
Yeah, I mean, I always say that you know, you don't become an alumni on the day that you leave. You become alumni on the day that you join the university, because actually that's when we start to build a relationship. And actually, prior to that, you know, you watching this video, this webinar, you've applied, so you're already building a relationship with us as a school. So we do have a dedicated alumni team within the school that provide, while you're here, a whole set of opportunities to start to engage. So, for example, current students are regularly invited to attend alumni networking events, and we run those in Newcastle, London, and Manchester as major cities, where we have concentrations of alumni. So it's a real opportunity for that. And actually, you know, the feedback we get from the alumni is how much they enjoy meeting you as a current student of the university. And of course, that in itself provides you with opportunity for career guidance, even potentially career opportunities, because many of our alumni, of course, are now employers themselves. And then after graduation, we have a whole range of global groups and communities that you can join, so you can remain a part of the network of the school, of the university, in your local area once you've completed your studies.
Thank you. A lot of our students, we know from speaking to them, finance and studies and living costs is a topic that's becoming ever more important when deciding what to do in terms of study. Can you say a little bit about the sort of offer that we have here at Newcastle?
Yes, I mean, we support a whole set of scholarship opportunities. I believe we're going to put some information about that into the chat, so you can see the details. Of course, that all that information is on the website as well. So do inquire about specific scholarship opportunities for your particular program and for your particular region. I think I'd just point to the 10 what we call excellence scholarships that we provide. These are £10,000 scholarships, 5 are Dean's Excellence scholarships, 5 are what we call business excellence scholarships. They're aimed at those applicants who have particularly strong profiles and from particular regions. You can get details, both I believe putting them in the chat and through the website. But they're a way of us of bringing in really strong students that we want to be part of our programs.
Thank you, that's great. Moving on a little bit and just thinking about research, can you expand a little bit more? It can be seen as quite a impenetrable sort of process to explore research opportunities. Would you mind just sort of giving us a bit of an overview of how that works at the business school?
Yeah. I mean, yes, research can seem impenetrable. It's a very definite skill. Of course, you're sitting in a school, as we've already said, which is research intensive. So the staff that you're teaching you, many of them have worldwide reputations within their field of expertise, and they will bring into the classroom that knowledge, and also the knowledge not just of their expertise, but of actually the research process. So you will, as part of some programs, have specific modules that teach the research process. But beyond that, there are opportunities. For example, we run summer internships for undergraduate students to work with an academic on research, and then the dissertation process itself, which we have on many of our both undergraduate and postgraduate programs, is an opportunity to engage. Yes, we've said in consultancy type real world projects, but also opportunity if you wish to focus more on research, to do a more research-based project, which will be under the guidance of an academic who will support you through that process, and a real opportunity to learn more about research, particularly for those who are thinking they want to go on towards PhD study and ultimately potentially an academic career following their studies.
Thank you. Just sort of conscious of time a little bit. Just moving on, what would be your top tips for any offer holder who's thinking about joining us or hoping to join us in September in terms of how they can prepare?
Okay, yes, well, learn as much as you can about us before joining, and we're aiming to provide you with many opportunities to do that. So webinars such as this, but we're running a whole set of webinars, actually more specialist around specific programs. Those are available on our YouTube channel. So if you don't get a chance to watch them live, you have plenty of opportunity to catch up later on those. I think also it's important to apply for your visa as early as you can. It does take a little bit of time to get the visa through, and it's really important for you to aim to be here for the welcome week and the induction process, which is from this year, the 15th of September. So planning ahead, getting your visa application in and getting here in time for that, because that's the chance you get to really learn about the program, learn about the city, learn about the university, and embed yourself in life here. So yeah, the more you engage with us, the better it is for you to do that.
Fantastic, thank you. And just rounding off, I can't let you go without asking you what you consider to be your favourite thing about living within the northeast of England.
As I say, I'm new to the northeast myself, so it's not an area that I knew particularly well prior to joining the university. I think, well, I'm going to say, and I think for probably many of our students, it's a very vibrant, very friendly city, lots of opportunity just within the city centre to engage. This is outside of what the university provides, but lots of opportunities to engage in in fun, exciting things. It's just a really vibrant city. One of the big features we have is of course, the Premier League Football Club, which sitting at my desk, I can actually look out the window there at the football stadium. It's literally across the street from me. And that brings, it's actually quite unusual in the UK now, is we have a football stadium still in the city centre. For many cities, stadium is some way out. And that brings a whole very strong support for the club here, who are doing particularly. I'm not a supporter. I shouldn't tell you that, but I'm not a supporter of Newcastle. I have sort of become a supporter of Newcastle, and of course they're playing in the League Cup final this coming weekend. So we're hoping for the best that they can pull that one off. I say vibrant and friendly city because I think for many of our students, that's what attracts them to Newcastle. For me, though, I'm not really a city person, if I'm honest. And actually, what I really like is the coast and to get out of the city. It's a short 20-30 minute ride on the metro to the coast from the city centre. So very easy to get to. And if you want to be more adventurous, then you can go north from here into Northumbria. In fact, I had a very nice weekend walk last weekend, just 50 kilometres north of here, in beautiful countryside, castles, wildlife. It's for me, as a person who likes the countryside and likes walking, it's one of the most beautiful coastlines in the UK. So that would be my recommendation, to certainly make sure you take advantage of when you're here.
Lovely. That's a great note to wrap up on. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Stuart. Just before we let you go, it's just to say, I know we've got somebody who's dialed in a little bit later there. If you've got any questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to. Otherwise, we'll wrap up.